Why is this important? A well-defined charter sets expectation and aligns stakeholders, executive, meaning executive leadership, project teams, clients, on what the PMO will deliver. And this is my favorite, how it will support the organizational goals. When everyone understands the PMO purpose, it's easier to drive process improvements and deliver a culture of my favorite word of accountability. See, accountability is key in any PMO that is being created or an existing PMO. Experiment with these actionable tips. Collaborate with key executives and department heads to identify top business priorities and strategic goals. Document the PMO. You know I'm big on documentation because what? Because documentation beats conversation any day. So document the PMO primary functions, meaning the project governance, the resource management, and of course, risk oversight, and share these company-wide. Establish clear performance metrics, project completion rates, budget compliance. These are just some examples to measure PMO success regularly. Point number 6, establish strong governance structure. Governance structures define how decisions are made, who makes them, and how results are monitored and reported. This includes from anything from policies being approved for projects, standardizing processes, and defining escalation pathways. That is a missing gap a lot of times that I've seen where there's not a true escalation pathway. So a project manager has a new project and the PMO is not aligned with that particular project manager in the sense of how do I escalate? Yes, I know the project manager should do is their very best to lead the project. But when it gets to the point of that they've done everything they can do, meaning they created a solution, they've implemented the solution, and the solution is not working, we need to escalate, and the PMO needs to be supportive enough to support that team. This is important because a robust governance framework ensures consistency and transparent decision-making. This aligns with the director of a PMO's responsibility for purpose, implement and facilitate governance structure, or even a senior project manager that may be over the PMO or program manager. So it's also helps in managing the scope changes effectively and maintaining accountability across all project teams. Experiment with some of these actionable tips. Create a steering community with executive sponsors to oversee major project decisions, implement standardized templates, checklists for project intake and approval process, and schedule regular governance review meetings to address emerging risks and issues promptly. Point number 7, plan for PMO maturity and scalability. As the organization grows or takes on more complex projects, the PMO must evolve. This includes scaling processes, team capacity, as well as technology solutions. Let me park in parenthetically. We're in a day and age that now we can leverage AI for a lot of technology solution. I'm not saying for everything. What I mean by that, from scheduling, from actually building a charter, but it still requires collaboration. It still requires a sense of understanding how is this technology going to meet the needs of where the organization is currently at with regards to project management. This is important because a PMO that can scale supports long-term organizational objectives and adapts to new challenges in an IT infrastructure or any other domain. This underscores your potential as a consultant who can guide the PMO evolution. So if you're coming in, especially as a consultant, or you're getting hired on full time, you want to make sure that, again, I always say this over and over because I've seen people come in and push, and instead of really taking the time to understand the actual where the PMO is at from a short term, and then having the foresight, oh, I like that, the foresight or the vision to say, what does from a long-term standpoint, where we're at, and will we have the ability to make the adaptation that we need to?